This is the May Saltwater Inshore Box by Tackle Club. Right, I'm going to start off with the surface options first. Two different stick baits here for you. First one from Fishcraft. This is the scatter stick, which obviously is a floating stick bait. So this one's going to be perfect for popping and buzzing along the top of the water column. But then the second one is the DJ Jig Minnow. So obviously this is a sinking stick bait. It's got a lot more weight to it, so you can pepper out some really long casts. I like to let this sink down a little bit before start ripping it back or going into a burn. Now obviously two different approaches here, one on top, one that's going to sink a little bit further down. If you're fishing maybe off the rocks, maybe go for the heavier one, or if you're seeing a lot of fish that are fishing closer to the top, or you're fishing some shallow shoals, then maybe go for the floating one so you're not risking sinking this down into the structure and possibly losing it to said structure. But if you're jumping off into the deeper water and you've got fish vertically beneath you, got a few different options here for you. We're going to start off with the micro jig from HP Tackle. This is the Snapbait Halo. So it's a little micro jig, and I absolutely love fishing with these. Obviously pre-rigged with a little hook coming off the nose, which is where you're going to tie a line to, but it's super easy to fish. You just simply drop it straight down. I like to let it hit the bottom and then do like a half a crank just to bring it off the bottom a little bit, and just lift your rod slowly up and down. You'll feel this thing, the weight of this thing scatter back down. Just do 1, 2, 3 lifts, and then on the third lift I kind of like to do another half crank to a full crank, just so it's lifting up in the water column, and you can slowly work your way through that water column to cover the complete depth. Obviously if you've got a fish finder and you can see where the fish is sitting, it's going to be perfect, and you can drop that down to that depth and work that depth. Now if you want something that you fish even slower, then from the same company here we have the triple threat. So big heavy head on this one, which you can fish with such ease. These things here, you can literally just put them on your rod, drop it in the water, put your rod in the rod holder, and just the current and the waves will just slowly jig this up and down. Fantastic way to have another rod rigged up, chasing fish while you're maybe working your other smaller jig or one of your stick baits at the same time. You can also just jig this up and down in your hands too, but something like this, I'd like to try to take advantage of the fact that you can just slowly jig it without even holding onto it. Now if you're maybe working across some flats or something, or you've got some maybe snapper that are schooling up midway in the water column, you've got the Berkeley Shimmer Shrimp. So these are like a vibe style soft plastic in the body of a shrimp. So these have been working fantastically well for a lot of different species. But essentially you just drop it down and you, once again, work it vertically. You can work these on the cast and retrieve as well. So let it cast out, let it sink down and hop it back, or even into a slow to medium wind back is going to be fine. But obviously with the big strong trebles hanging underneath it, you just want to be cautious where you're casting that you're not going to snag it up and lose it. And last but not least, we've included some soft plastics here from Z-Man, the Diesel Minnows. I've got the pearl colour here, and we've also matched that up to the 3/8 3/0 heavy gauge hooks. So that will marry up perfectly with these soft plastics, so you're rigged and ready to go when you get out on the water. But something like this, I will happily work on the cast and retrieve, even over some snaggy areas is going to be completely fine. If you're still snagging up, maybe swap over to a weaveless hook, but I like to try and fish without the weaveless hook and just keep to like a medium retrieve, just so this swims just over top of the structure, because then a lot of the fish will dart up and grab it as you swim it past their home. And that's it for the Saltwater Inshore Box this month. If you want to check it out or any of the others in the range, just head to www.tackleclub.com.au, pick a box that's right for you, and welcome to the club.